Hello, folks. I was going to say ladies and gentlemen. Right, well, I haven't had chance really to get on with enough people to show you the how you share the resources buy power and water off of other people. We will get to that, but what I want to show you today really is another city that I've been working on, which mainly last night that I was working on this. I started it from scratch last night and I got it up to where it is now. Paid a good 12 hours last night. Got this city up to where it is now. What I basically want to talk about in this video is what's still broken about the game and what you need to keep an eye out for when you get a city of, say, this size with a decent amount of industry, sorry, because I've got none in this. A decent amount of manufacturing going on, possibly tourism, and we'll talk a little bit about tourism in a moment. But what you basically need to keep an eye on now, at the bottom here you can see that I am actually losing 28,829 simoleons per hour. Now that is not a big issue, and the main thing you want to focus on when you've got a city running this big is don't bother looking about how much you're losing per hour. Look at the little simoleon symbol next to your treasury, which this little symbol here. If it's black, you're fine, no problem. If it's yellow, it means you are losing money and will most likely go bankrupt if you don't do something soon. If it is red, it means you are screwed, basically. Now, if we go into this in a bit more detail, now I've got quite a lot in this city. Most of this city is concentrating on creating. Let's unpause it. Most of this city is concentrating on creating metals and alloys because I had a fair amount of coal in this area and I had an absolute ton of ore in this area. So I was mining the coal and ore. I had another ore factory here, but I've since demolished it because it's used all the ore in that area, and mainly to expand on the commercial buildings that I had. I've got a few abandoned buildings in there, but it doesn't matter for the moment. Now, so this is where I'm making most of my money at the moment. Now, as I said before, I'm losing quite a lot an hour, but if I actually go into my budget panel, you'll see that I am actually making 827,000 simoleons every month. See, now that figure there doesn't actually show up in your money per hour. So I am actually making that on top of what I am losing there. So it does equate out a little bit. I am earning money. I'm not actually losing money. You can tell that with the little simoleon symbol next to your treasury. With that being black, you can tell that on a monthly basis you are actually earning money and not losing money. I have no bonds on this one. As you can see, the alloy sells for an absolute heap ton per 10 tons that they produce. I have a rail network going on here with a trade port connected to it, so it can be delivered by rail. I then have another trade port down here which has the dock on it, so it can be collected by freight ship as well. So that is where I'm making most of my money from in this city. Now there are loads of ways to make money in this city. Now, some of them at the moment are still fundamentally broken. Not necessarily specializations themselves, which is why I want to talk about tourism here. Now, I've got three landmarks in this city. I have the Empire State Building, which is there, which, as you can see there, he is making 39,540 per day. Okay. I then have the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is here, which is making 12,513 per day. And then I have the Statue of Liberty, which is here, which is making 37,956 per day. I also have the Pro Stadium over here and the Expo Centre over in this area here. Now, tourism is not necessarily broken in itself. It's more to do with mass transit. Tourists will not come to your city if there is a long wait for mass transit. They will come by plane and then they will try and get on a bus. If they can't get on a bus, they'll go back. They won't bother. If they can't get on the streetcar, they won't bother. They'll come by plane. As you can see, I've got the municipal airport up here. I also have 3 ferry terminals. One here with each of them has the cruise liner dock on it as well to bring high wealth tourists. I have 3 of those. Now, this is what's fundamentally broken about the game. Now, if we go back into the mass transit, now the bus wait time is not that bad. You have a 28-minute bus wait time. But if we look at how many streetcars I actually have, I have a streetcar depot here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 5 extra streetcars on the back. So I get 13 streetcars because each one of these provides 2 streetcars, and you get 2 off the bat anyway once you build it. And then I have another one here which has 15 streetcars. Now this is where this game seems to be fundamentally broken still, because if we go in here, you can see the average wait time is 34 minutes. Now that's an okay wait time, but it's not a good one. You'll notice that the bus wait time was actually in green, which means that's good. Streetcar wait time is in yellow, which means it's okay, but it could be better. My trains, obviously 15 minutes because I do have 2 train stations, one here and one here. Boats are not that long of a wait time. That's because I have three ferry terminals. If you only have one, you can end up waiting ridiculous amounts of time for a ferry. And the plane wait time is absolutely crazy because I only have 1 runway because I can't fit another one there at the moment. Eventually I will end up demolishing all this around here. Once this all runs out of ore, I'll get rid of that and then concentrate on more on the tourism. But I will not do that until they have fixed what is wrong with the tourism specialization in this game. If we have a look, go back to my streetcars. If we have a look at the streetcar map here, it will show you how many people are waiting at each stop. Now, I've demolished a few of these stops for the reason I'm going to explain to you now. There are 102 passengers waiting at that stop. Okay, so there's 1 streetcar there. There's absolutely loads of them. There's 1 there. There's 1 there. This one might be a better one to show it on you because there's quite a few passengers waiting at each of these. There are a lot of streetcars in this city, and most of them will probably still be in the garage. But if we resume the game, watch where the streetcars go. Right, let's click this little guy here when he decides to pull off. Right, he has 75 out of 200 passengers. So we'll keep following him. Wait till he gets to a streetcar stop where people are waiting. Not many people waiting at this one. This one he might. Yeah, he's managed to do that one okay. When he gets to a streetcar stop where there are quite a few people waiting, you'll notice why tourism is fundamentally still broken in this game. He's actually going to do it now. He's not going to do it now. I want to show you guys why I think tourism is broken. He's not going to bloody do it. Let's try a different one. Let's try a different streetcar. Let's try one of the guys that run this route down here. Where are they? Let's have a look at this guy. If I can click him. So as you can see, there was 51 passengers waiting there, but he dropped off a load, but never picked any up. There's 137 there. He didn't drop anybody off, didn't pick anybody up. He's now waiting at the intersection. He'll come round this way. He'll most likely go up that way. Come on. Yeah. I am deciding probably whether to actually demolish this area of streetcar track to make it just a 1 circle, because I think that is why it's fundamentally broken still. I mean, as you can see, this wait time has now gone up to 49 minutes. Because they're going around and they're not picking people up when people are actually waiting at the stop, which in turn increases the wait time. And look, that guy just didn't bother picking up anybody. He picked up a few from there. There's loads of them waiting at this one, and he decides to turn around and go back the other bloody way. He's now coming, picking up, and he decides to turn around and go back the other way, and then that guy decides to do the same as well. They are talking about fixing this, about making stops with high passengers a priority, which should have been done in the first place. But, you know, because there are people waiting everywhere. I've got tons of streetcars. Half of them aren't even out. They're still in the bloody garage. Because what they said is that they'll return to the garage if there is nowhere to pick people up from. Now, you can see there's tons of places to pick people up from. That guy didn't even bother stopping at that stop to pick them people up. And then he decides to go back the other way and back up there again. So I think what you need to do is, if you're going to have streetcars, try and have, if you want a streetcar going sort of like around the back of your city and things, try and have two separate ones. So I'm possibly going to get rid of this bit of track here and just have these guys run backwards and forwards up this area, possibly come round this way. Maybe do that kind of loop and get rid of this area of streetcar stops and just have this guy do sort of like up to here. Maybe even when I get chance, demolish this expo center and build another high avenue going through this way, so that they actually go up and round this way, rather than and then turn back round and come back, because it is just absolutely ridiculous that they don't. I mean, these guys have been waiting here for absolutely ages, and there's nobody even bothered to come down here and try and pick these guys up. Now, this is why tourism is still broken. It's not necessarily the tourism specialisation itself. It is the mass transit issue again. I mean, the bus wait times is slowly going up because the buses have the same problem. They'll stop at, we put this on, they'll stop at bus stops and not bother and pick anybody up. This guy's going all the way over bloody here. Decides to turn around and come back. Let's see if he picks anybody up from here. He picks a few people up, but that's because he's full. Yeah, fair enough. But these guys there, them two, they just came all the way down here and turned around. They didn't even bother to go this way and pick these guys up. Why can't you set out a designated route for your buses? I think that would be a much better way to do things. If, say, you plopped down a bus station, it then gave you a view like this that said, right, now mark out on the roads which route you want your buses to take and which direction they should go in. That would be much better, because then you know exactly that the buses are not going to get to the end of the street and just bloody turn around and go back the other way. Because it is so annoying that you cannot, at the moment, produce a wealthy city. I will not say you can't do it, because you can do it if you've got a small enough city. You can possibly do it if you work very, very slowly. But the only way at the moment to make any kind of wealthy city that works well, that you're not going to have at some point a complete collapse, is to have a trade city, because that is the only way that I can see that you can actually make any money. Until they decide to fix what is wrong with the mass transit system, they want to do it so they make high priority. Why? That's pointless. Just let us, from here, when we go into this view, when we go into the edit view or whatever, give us this sort of layout. Let us mark out, say it comes out of here, you'll go down this road here, you'll pick up whoever wants to come down here, you'll then come down here, you'll pick up these guys here, you'll go back across here, through this way possibly, maybe pick these guys up from here, round, back up this way, down here, and then back across my big long bridge that I've got here, pick these guys up, and then back up this way. How difficult is that for us to do? You can go back up this way, and then I can drop them back down here, and then back to the station again. That seems a much simpler idea. I mean, not necessarily have them all follow the same route all the time. And you won't need as many buses either, because the trouble is the AI on the mass transit is still very, very shaky. I mean, they'll go to the end of the roads and just turn around and keep they'll still go to the ends of the road, turn around, come back, turn around, come back, going up and down the same roads all the time and completely missing out these guys over here. I mean, when I do an event on the Pro Stadium here, because none of the buses are actually coming down this area, they're getting completely missed. Everybody that gets comes in via the airport, everybody that comes in via the ferry terminals, they get completely missed. They don't get picked up because the buses don't come drop off people down here very often. You'll see the odd one come down here, And then people just end up stop waiting. They just decide, hey, you know what, sod it, I've had enough. They'll run off and then come all the way back again because the buses have magically decided to turn up. But it's just that is the way that I find that why tourism is still broken. As I said, it's not necessarily the tourism specialisation itself. It's just the way that the mass transit system works, and the way that actually tourism works is that people will not visit your city if there is a long wait for mass transit. I mean, if say there's say 300 people waiting at this stop here, and every single one of them want to go to the Pro Stadium for an event, they're not going to get picked up because that bus is not going to end up going on his way down here. That's why they don't pick people up. If these people want to go down here and that bus isn't going down there within its hidden route that it's got planned out for itself, then they're not going to bother getting on the bus. So I think my thing now is what I'm going to concentrate on now with this city is to try and get this sorted out, possibly try and demolish some of these stops so that they've got more of a route to go down, maybe get rid of this one here and just leave that one there, and then hopefully he'll come straight down and do these guys down here, maybe move that one onto the main street so they don't have to go up and down that bridge all the time. But it's an absolute pain in the backside because I would like to have a tourist city, I really would, rather than having to every time to make any kind of decent money have to smelt alloys or metal or refine oil into petroleum. It would be nice. I mean, you can make, when you're kind of a small city, you do start making money off the events, but once you start getting pretty large, it's just an absolute nightmare to control your mass transit to get the tourists in. I mean, look, there's 312 passengers waiting there, and that's the main bus terminal, and hardly any of these bloody buses are going back to it to pick them up. Anyway, that's my little rant, and a short, I suppose you can say, tutorial of why not to go the tourism route as of yet. If I can work out how to solve this before they decide to patch it, then obviously I'll let you guys know. But if you want to play SimCity, please do not try the tourism route. It's such an absolute pain to get right. It's so much easier just to do the trade, make a ton of money off the trade. As you can see there, we started off here with just over 1 million credits. It's gone down now, but it will go up again in a moment. I've got 1.5 million now, and that's within the I've made about 500,000 within the space of talking to you guys here, within the space of probably say 10 minutes. So yeah, I mean, if I can figure out how to get that resolved and get it sorted out and working properly, then obviously I'll put another video up and let you guys know. Obviously, don't forget about what I said before. Don't necessarily, when you've got a big city up and running, don't keep an eye on how much money you're losing per hour. Keep an eye on that little simoleon icon next to your treasury. If it's black, you're good. If it's yellow, you may need to turn off something. You may need to start thinking about maybe increasing taxes, adding a few extra residents so they pay extra taxes, or commercial or something like that. Maybe start exporting something that you're already using locally. I will say that if you are exporting, say, coal or something like that, and you export it from the trade depot, if you've got a coal power plant like I have here, don't think that if you tell the trade depot to export it that they won't use it for the coal depot. They will, because the coal depot will deliver it straight to the coal power plant rather than the coal depot. If you've got the coal power plant to accept local deliveries, they will deliver to your local power plant as well. So you can still export it and still keep some for your own personal use as well. So bear that in mind, and I will see you guys next time. See ya!